What are the top 5 classroom management strategies? Well, that's what this video is about. I'm gonna give you the 5 most important things you need to have put in place if you want to have your classroom effective and efficient. But first, let's play that intro. Number 1 is a good seating chart. Oh man, of all the strategies, this is the one you need to have a lock. This is the most important one you need to have in place. Think about this. If you have a good seating chart, you could definitely deter a lot of negative behavior and even eliminate some behavior all to start with, right?
God damn it, Carmen, stop throwing those stupid poppy things at me.
I mean, you can. I like to look at this as the war plan going into battle. I mean, if you strategize this right, you can actually think, these two students, when they're together, problems arise. Maybe talking, maybe there's conflict or something else. So a seating chart, you can separate those students. That way, hopefully, it would deter any kind of behavior from that happening. If you know there's a group of 3 or 4 that always seem to be off task, you can strategically place them in different spots of the room so there's less chance of that behavior coming up. A good seating chart is going to help you in so many ways. I remember I was at a lecture once, and they kind of went through the list of all the different things as far as how effective they are, and by far this was the most effective thing. So a good seating chart, you want to have that in place. That is the number 1 strategy to help eliminate classroom problems. Number 2, you want to have a routine in place of some sort of warm-up or some sort of introduction, bell work, something put in place so when students come in, they know exactly what they got to do and they can get started right away. I want you, this sets the tone of the entire class. If kids come in all chaotic and there's no clear direction of what to do and they're just messing around, that's going to trickle through the entire class period. And you're going to find yourself losing a lot of valuable time and probably a lot of hair too from all the stress. But if you have a system in place or a warm-up, kids come in and they know exactly what they do without any kind of instruction. That's the key. You want to be able, the first 5 minutes of your class, you want students to be on their own doing what they need to do so you can take care of what you need to do, such as attendance, such as bathroom passes, such as calls to the office, such as whatever else it might be. You need those first 5 minutes to take care of housekeeping. So students got to be on autopilot, knowing what to do when they come in. For me, I have about 4 different warm-ups that I use repeatedly throughout the school year. I have like my definitions, so I'll just switch out the definitions, but there's a routine of how to do the definition. That's something called geography skills, where it's map skills, they work on map. Another one is a timeline skills, they work on that. Or it might be another chart. And so, but the thing is, at the beginning of the year, I front load all the information, I teach them how to do it, and then the rest of the year, kids are on autopilot, they know exactly what to do when they come into my classroom, and that gives me the time to set the tone for the rest of the period. Number 3, you want some sort of attention getter. And here's what I mean. You're in the front of the class and you're ready to do your lecture and maybe there's a transition period or maybe the warm-up's done, something like that, and you want to get the class attention. You need to have something put in place so that the kids know to stop whatever they're doing and look at you, either for instructions or something else. For me personally, mine's real simple. I just say, everybody up here, please. That's it. So whatever the class is doing, I'll say, everybody up here, please. And that is it. And then I'll wait a few seconds. If I still need a few more students, I'll say it one more time. I'll say, let's try this again. Everybody up here, please. And usually by that time, I have all the kids' attention. But that's for me. Now, there's so many different varieties of this. Ones I've seen, which I kind of like, I haven't done though, is a waterfall. Where you go, shh, and the rest of the class goes, shh. Another one is class, and they say yes, yes. That's another possibility. There's numerous ones out there. But what you need to do is you need to find one that works for you. And then when you do, implement that and carry through. And the other part of it is, don't give up on it. What you need to set the tone. And with the attention grabber, once you do it, if they're not responding or getting the attention you need, you got to put up that boundary, let them know that is not something that's going to be acceptable in your class. So you got to have an attention grabber, but then once you have the expectations, you got to hold kids to that expectation. But that is the 3rd thing. The 4th thing is you need to have some sort of class reward. Once again, this is for classroom management. So the idea goes like this. that if I'm trying to get students to behave a certain way, if I can get the majority of class or more than the majority of class to behave that certain way, it puts pressure on the other kids that aren't behaving correctly. And so to do that, you want to have some sort of reward system. So I'll give you two examples of things I do in my class. The first one is I have something called teacher versus student. And so the teacher versus student is I start the kids off at 6 points. If the class goes great and there's no problem, the students get those 6 points. And then once the whole class gets to 50 points, they don't have homework the following week. So it's a class group, it's a class group reward system. But if a student misbehaves, I basically give myself 1 point, which means the class loses a point. And so by doing that, the class monitors itself. And so give you an example, back to the whole attention grabber. I'll be like, all right, class, I need your attention. And then I'll wait a second or two, and then I'll put a mark for my mark. Like this class loses a point. Then I'll say it again. All right, let's try this again. Everybody up here. The combination of those two things together, I get the class attention, I would say 99% of the time. So, but you would have some sort of reward system for your class as a way of monitoring behavior. And once again, that could be different things for different people. Another thing I've done is with the Pledge of Allegiance. For me, the Pledge of Allegiance comes up. I can't force the kids to do the Pledge of Allegiance, but I give them a reward as a class. I say, all right, guys, here's the deal. If everybody go ahead and stands up for the Pledge of Allegiance, then I'll make sure that we don't have to do work for the first 10 minutes of class. Something of that sort. And if all the kids stand up, perfect, boom, there we go. First time into class, I give them a little bit of free time. If one kid doesn't stand up, then I don't call them out, nothing like that. I just say, all right, guys, let's get to the work. But it's a way of them monitoring each other, is connected with that class reward. So class reward would be the fourth one. And the fifth one, this is the little secret sauce. When I implemented this in my classroom, everything just seemed to go smoother transitions. Kids were more on task. This was just a little extra above everything else, but I would not have my class without it. And that is a timer. I pretty much time everything. Give you an example. Warm up. Back to that warm up again. Kids come in. I have the warm up posted on my screen. Tells them what to do, and it says you have 8 minutes. And then I have the timer going. What that timer does, it creates that urgency. You know how it is, right? It creates that urgency that they can't be wasting their time. They know exactly how much time they have to work on the activity. And so if I notice the kid's off task, I'll just basically look at the timer and go, hey, you only got 4 minutes left. Or I might say, you've been here 5 minutes, you haven't done anything yet. The timer is a visual of where they're at as far as completing the task. And then when it comes to other things, transitions. Once again, we're doing an activity, 10 minutes on the activity, timer goes off. That is a verbal cue that we're to move on to the next thing. And so what the timer does, it just makes everything a smoother process. It brings everything up to the surface as far as urgency goes, and it just creates that sense of importance, that what we're doing is important. We're going to focus on this for 10 minutes straight. Give me your attention and let's go. So the fifth thing I would highly recommend for classroom management would be a timer.